punching above your weight a bit there, aren't you, Mr. Mayor?
Many of your listeners will realise on a daily basis our police and security services, because we're members of the EU, share a huge amount of intelligence and work in relationships with the EU, the European arrest warrant, access to passengers who come to the UK, which we then check watch lists against on a daily basis, DNA sharing, fingerprints, wanted lists. And the point that I'm making to colleagues here in Europe, as well as to my own government, is this: look, there is now a real possibility of us leaving the European Union without any deal whatsoever on March the 29th. If that's the case, that's music to the ears of criminals, because that means they're able to commit crimes cross-border without the cross-border cooperation. So the point I'm making to our government and to friends in the EU is, look, let's park for a second our differences in relation to the EU deal. Let's separately agree security arrangements. So if there isn't a deal, on March the 30th, we can still have the cross-border cooperation that's so crucial.
I don't know how you'll answer this question. Do our government not appreciate this possibility, or are they, in a sense, blinded by the pursuit of that deal? They're not yet prepared to contemplate no deal publicly. We know that they're doing so privately, but
I think it's a very reasonable question, which is, hold on a sec. There was a possibility at 11:01 p.m. on March 29th. Everything's off the table. Everything. And in those circumstances, I think it's now contingent upon all of us to put pressure on our government and say, what steps are you taking, at the very least, on security arrangements to make sure something happens on March the 30th? Because I'm telling you this, if you're somebody who traffics humans, if you're somebody who plans terrorist attacks across borders, if you're somebody that's involved in organised gangs or importing drugs or guns, you're looking forward to and hoping for a no-deal situation. And my point is just, look, you carry on doing that sort of stuff separately, Dominic Raab and Theresa May and all the games they're playing. In the meantime, let the grown-ups have a conversation about what happens on March the 30th, should we not be able to reach a deal on Brexit.
Do you have any friends in government here? I mean, is there anybody in national government as opposed to local government that shares your concerns, is prepared to publicly back them?
Well, look, I say this. We've got friends in the German and French governments. I this afternoon spent with the survivors and the families of those who lost their lives in the Bataclan terror attack 3 years ago. 130 people lost their lives, including one Brit, Nick Alexander. And the warmth they had towards me as the Mayor of London, the solidarity we showed them and they show us, is an example that people to people, police to police, there is a huge amount of friendship and fraternity. And what I'm saying to my government is, look, listen, I appreciate the problems you had in relation to the Brexit deal, but honestly, security is far more important in relation to what happens on a daily basis. On a whole host of issues, let's sort this out. Even if it's on a parallel basis, let's have a separate security deal ready to go. Should there be a case on March 30th, we're in a position where there's a catastrophic scenario of no deal.
But you haven't answered my question. I don't mean that disingenuously, and it's why I suggested you were perhaps punching a bit above your weight at the beginning of this exchange. Because I understand what you're saying. Set aside Brexit loyalties or otherwise Brexit oppositions and arguments. Even set aside party loyalties. Your position would sound a lot stronger if you could say, and X, Y, and Z agree with me. Do you see what I mean? Because this is a national crisis potentially that you're describing, not just a London one.
Well, let me answer your question directly. So I've met David Davis many occasions when he had the job. Dominic Raab has not met me yet since he's had the job. In the meantime, the good news is the National Police Councils, the Met Police and others are working at the moment, making plans should the situation arise where there is no deal with the EU. And so literally there are experts now wasting hours. I say wasting hours because I think this could have been resolved ages ago, working on the basis of there being no deal. These aren't politicians. Yes. These are police experts around the country. The Met Police as a national leading role in that scenario. But you're right. What should be happening is government ministers speaking to not just me, others around the country. Affects not just London and Manchester and Liverpool, also affects Wales and other parts of England as well, and the Northern Ireland. It's really important. Now there's more likelihood than ever since we voted to leave the EU of us leaving the EU without any deal. Please, if any government ministers are listening, if there are members of DEXU listening, I know that police officers will support me, so will police chiefs. Let's separately organise a security deal. So if it's the case, we leave without any deal. At least we've got the reassurance of knowing security. Although it'll still be clunky, it'll be less effective, it'll be slower, but at least we'll have some arrangement rather than nothing at all.